based in a 18th century castle near Leszno in Poland, where the team members are protected from mischief by a 6-foot moat. And enjoying life in Polish baronial style, we have two members of the England squad on duty today, Chris Morton, the captain, and Simon Wigg. Chris, England haven't won this title for 3 seasons now, but of course the last time you did win was in Poland. In fact, you never lost a World Cup in Poland. Does that mean anything today?
Yes, I was looking at the record myself. We've got a very good record in Poland, and the thing is, we've got to take advantage of that, and there's a lot at stake today, and we're really going for it.
You've had a fair bit of stick from the critics in various quarters about the England performances this year. Has that really got through? We've read that it has. We've read you're all fired up for this meeting.
Well, I mean, you always get fired up for a World Team Cup meeting. There's been one World Championship event and England have won that so far, so there's no call for any criticism as yet, because the year isn't over, so it's still all there for us.
But you got a bit of a tasing from the Americans in the Test series. They've gone galloping through these rounds. The Danes look very dangerous. It's going to be tough out there today, Chris.
Yeah, of course. I think this is going to be one of the closest World Team Cup meetings that we've seen for a long time. It is going to be very hard, but we're all very hard blokes, and we're going to give it everything we've got.
And it's first time in Poland, of course, Simon. How's that going to affect you?
Well, it doesn't really matter where it is. I enjoy going everywhere, and I enjoyed the track yesterday, and I don't really think where we are will make a difference. It's going to be good, whatever happens.
Bobby Schwartz, American captain, and of course you've got this terrific team spirit going for you.
Well, yeah, that's what it's all about. I mean, the Americans did it this year in the Olympics in LA, so we want to do it this year in Poland. We want to get the gold and bring it home.
And what about the opposition? Because there has been a fair amount of animosity between yourself and the English. Is it still in there today, still the needle?
A little bit, you might say. I wouldn't say it's a real bad situation. It's something that's competitive more than anything. It's not something bad. It's good for the sport, and it's good for both teams.
But you're going to be putting yourself about today.
That's right, Dave. I mean, we're going to go out there to win, and we're not going to hold any punches back. We're going to be out there and throwing elbows and whatever we can to win.
Well, they certainly do things differently in Poland. This afternoon's staging venue is named after the first Polish Speedway champion, Alfred Spocek, and he was awarded the title after he died. But the spirit of Speedway in Poland still very much alive. They've had to renumber the seats here to get a capacity 45,000 crowd in, and it was a sellout 3 days ago. So everything set for the 1984 World Team Cup final. Poland, as the atmosphere begins to really come to a climax at the start of this 1984 World Team Cup final. Already we've had marching bands, show jumpers, Polish dancers, cycling, and they're now ready for the Speedway. And if anybody thinks that Speedway is dying on its feet, just look at this crowd. It's packed to the rafters. They were sold out, 3 days ago. They've had to renumber the seats to get them all in. There'll be 45,000 in officially, and I imagine something like 5,000 or 10,000 will hop over the fence. They really do love their Speedway here in Poland, and they know they're going to get something special here this afternoon. And so England's bid to regain this world crown, which has eluded them since 1980, could hardly be tougher for them here in Leszno this afternoon, with the reigning champions Denmark inspired by the new team manager Ollie Olsen, the Americans in rampant form, and of course the Poles, who are no easy meat on their own tracks. It is absolutely packed here at this Alfred Spocek Memorial Stadium, the first time they've staged a major world event in this part of the world, but they've done us proud. It's been a fabulous opening parade, not perhaps quite up to Olympic standards, but in Heat 1, as we look across the grid on the inside, it's Lance King in the white helmet colour. The Americans were riding in white throughout the programme. He's on the inside. Next to him in blue, the Danes, and that's Bo Peterson. Grid 3 has the Polish #1 rider, Leonard Raba, and on the outside, England's first man into the fray, Peter Collins, in yellow and black on the outside. And gating, starting techniques are going to be all important here in Heat 1. We'll watch for King on the inside and see how quickly Collins can get away from grid number 4. And my word, Peterson is impatient. In grid 2, England is inside the way, and it's Peterson who goes. The Dane gets away, Collins has been squeezed down around the first corner. Peterson in front, second place King, Collins coming bursting through on the inside. But that really was a pit to start from Bo Peterson, and now Peter Collins moves up under Lance King. it's getting a bit tight for the minor positions, and King's being squeezed out as Brabham comes through. Quite a sensational start. Peterson up front in second place. It is Collins. In third place is Brabham. And Lance King, a surprise for the Americans, is at the back. My word, these Danes mean business. Look at Peterson. Peterson stretching them. Collins still in second place. Has lost his helmet colour. Third place Brabham. And the Americans, who many felt were the favourites, through Lance King at the back. Heat 1 is going to be an impressive win for Bo Peterson. He takes it. Peter Collins doing well for second place. Third place to Paul Brabham. Heat 2 coming up with Denmark already in the lead. They have 3 points. England, the fighting start on 2. Poland have a point, and the Americans surprisingly yet to score. Heat 2 on the inside in blue, Erik Gundersen for Denmark. Next to him in red, Zenon Plek, the experienced Polish campaigner. Grid 3 has England's Chris Morton. On the outside in white for the Americans, Kelly Moran. Moran will need to retrieve the situations for the Americans here. They started as favourites. And again, it's the Danes. And Gundersen is lucky not to break the tape. He's certainly nudging them. He's away this time. He's got a flyer. After the first corner, it is Gundersen. Gundersen leads it. Plex in second place, and third place coming hard around the outside. It is Kelly Moran. Moran just cannot get the drop on Plex, and at the back it's Morton. That's bad news for England as they all begin to tighten up for the minor positions. And Moran moves across and almost took Chris Morton's wheel off there. But it's Denmark, 2 flying starts in the first 2 races. Second place the Poles, who are doing a bit better than we thought. In third place, it is Kelly Moran for America. And at the back is Chris Morton, and that is ominous for the English. Well, there is Erik Gundersen. We have got Kenny Carter up here with us. Kenny, as we thought, the Danes are starting very quickly.
Yeah, they've been pushing the tape so far. Erik Gundersen was lucky that he didn't get excluded in that race, but I hope the English boys can start better than they have so far.
So we're in around the last 2 corners, 338 metres here, and Gundersen has won it via sprint. Second place, holding on, is Plex. Third place is Kelly Moran, and Morton at the back, and that's bad news for England. Well, there's some frantic activity down there in the American corner of the pits. Kenny, it looks as though they're changing gear. Do you think they've been caught out here?
I think the Americans have been using the Carlisle tyres in the first few races, Dave, and it just looks to me as though they're going to Dunlop tyres now, and hopefully that will improve their form. But I just hope that the English boys can get their problems sorted out, and we can see some wins, hopefully from Simon Wigg in the next race, Dave.
2 races gone, and already a surprise here in Poland. The score with Denmark on maximum 6 points, the Poles as far as in second place, England back on third place on 2, and the Americans, the anti-post favourites, only 1 point. Looking across the lineup here for Heat 3, on the inside, the new boy from Poland, Zenon Kasperzak. He's on grid 1. Next to him, in grid 2, Bobby Schwartz, the American skipper. The Americans will be looking to him. Grid 3 has Hans Nielsen, and the Danes have been very swiftly away thus far. On the outside for England, they're only world individual finalists, and indeed the rider who has provided such inspiration on more than one occasion this year, Simon Wigg, the yellow and black checkered helmet colour on the outside, and he'll need to be like lightning to get around the outside of Nielsen up to the first corner. Here we go for Heat 3, and they really are pushing these tapes, and Nielsen is not sitting still. And again, the tapes are touched, and the referee's really going to have to put a stop to this, and away they go this time, and it is Wigg from the outside. Simon Wigg for England into the first corner, in second place Nielsen. Third is the Pole, and Schwartz comes bursting through into third place, but it's Wigg for England at this point, and Nielsen going hard after him. The 2 Oxford teammates in the British League, but it's Wiggy showing on the way home here in Heat 3, and the handful of British fans in the crowd are enjoying this moment. Wigg up front, he was determined to do so well in this meeting. His first World Cup final. Second place, Nielsen. Schwartz has moved into third place, but the Americans at the moment are not looking too happy. Oh, Kenny Carter, Simon Wigg is really lifting England at this moment, isn't he?
Fantastic start there from Simon, Dave. I I just hope that this win from England can boost them up now and they can go out from then on and make a start. I think the Danes are cheating a little bit at the start. That was a really bad start. They was all bunching at the tape, and I think the referee's really got to sort them out.
And Nielsen making one last effort on the last two corners to get around the outside of Wigg, but Wigg is going to hold him off. Simon Wigg wins in second place, Nielsen for Denmark. In third place, it was Bobby Schwartz for the Americans. 3 heats gone, the Danes, the holders, well in front and in command at this stage. They have 8 points. England now in second place on 5. The Poles in third place on 3. America, again, a surprise, in last position on 2 points. There is the lineup for heat number 4. On the inside, in the blue helmet of Denmark, Preben Eriksson. Next to him, in red, the Polish flyer Roman Jankowski, who was the most impressive of the Poles from the starts in practice. Grid 3 has Phil Collins for England. Philip in his first World Cup final on the outside. Sean Moran, Antipo's favourite for the individual championship, in the white helmet colour of America. And off they go from the outside of this Moran. And Moran gets across the field and they're bunching up for second place. And it was left out Phil Collins, who moves up into third place. At the moment, it is in front Moran and Phil Collins trying the high, wide, handsome route around the outside of Preben Eriksson, and Eriksson takes it out. Now Collins switching inside, and Phil Collins really is trying everything to get up into second place. Still in front, it is Moran in second place, still Eriksson for the Danes. Third place, Phil Collins, and Jankowski from Poland at the back. He thought he might do a little better. Beginning to tighten up at the back of the pack with Moran in complete control, showing why he is the favourite for the World Individual Championship. And here comes Phil Collins again, trying to find the necessary drive and horsepower. It does seem the track is slick and hard, though Collins has tried. He really is going to produce something special here on this last lap, 338 metres, the battle for second place. Collins will dive from Eriksson, and Eriksson is going to hold him out. Moran wins it, second place, Eriksson third, Collins for all his efforts. Well, the Americans haven't wasted much time in trying to retrieve their calls. John Cook, their number 19 on his back, coming into race number 5 to replace their skipper Bobby Schwartz as their manager. John Scott, in his last World Final as the American team manager, attempts to pull back some lost ground. 4 races gone then, the Danes on 10 points, clearly in the lead. England have sneaked into second place on 6 points, the Americans on 5, the Poles on 3. Coming in to heat 5, we look at the lineup with the Americans playing their reserve, the fast starting, and starting has been all important. Fast starting John Cook, who will be on the inside grid, and both the Americans and England need a race win here to avoid the Danes disappearing over the horizon. There's the lineup, Cook on the inside. Next to him we have Phil Collins for England. Grid number 3 has in the blue helmet colour Erik Gundersen, and on the outside Leonard Rabba in red for Poland. Well, the Danes have been on a bit dodgy ground with their starts. There is Phil Collins in yellow for England. Here's the start of heat 5, and again it is Gundersen who's impatient to get away, and they're away this time. And up to the corner, it is Gundersen, and it is Collins and Gundersen, craving teammates locked together. Cook's been squeezed out. It is Gundersen in front, Collins in second. In third place it is Rabba, and John Cook from the United States is at the back. It was a hair-raising first corner, but Gundersen goes clear. Collins is in second place. Third place, the Pole Rabba. And the Danes are in a rampant mood. Still Gundersen up front. All the action really at the back for the odd point as John Cook attempts to find a way around Leonard Rabba. It is an event where you can ill afford a last place, and the gamble by the Americans here in heat 5 is certainly not paying off. The Danes will go further clear. England will consolidate second position, but the Americans have lost ground, and they've got a lot of work to do if they're going to get back into this World Cup final, even at this early stage. Gundersen by 30 lengths wins heat 5. Collins is second. In third place is Rabba. Pushing off for heat number 6 of this 1984 World Team Cup Final, the 25th staging of this world event, and this race really is an important one because we have 3 former race winners from Denmark, America and England's race winner, Simon Wigg, and Zenenplek, Poland, who was a fighting second first time out. 5 races gone. Denmark on 13 points. England clearly in second place on 8. The Americans on 5. Poles on 4. There is the lineup for Heat 6. On the inside, Zenenplek, Poland, in red. Next to him in white, the impressive and resourceful American Sean Moran. He's in grid 2. Grid 3 has England's Simon Wigg, who was a very fast starter and a resourceful and enterprising race winner first time out. On the outside, Bo Peterson, who got the Danes off to a rip-roaring start, winning heat number 1 right from start to finish. So heat 6, we have 3-4 men and Zenenplek on the inside. The Americans can ill afford to drop any more ground. They're looking to Moran here, and they weren't really still at the start. And it's Wigg, Simon Wigg, who shows. Wigg shows in second place. It's Moran going hard around the outside. It's both Peterson, and Peterson has got the drop on Moran. He's gone hard under Simon Wigg as well, and Wigg will not be happy there. He left the hole, and Peterson went through. And well, this was the man we thought might be the Danish weak link, and he has been their star. Came through from third to first. The Americans, Sean Moran is in third place. The bracket's Plek. But the Danes are absolutely tearing him apart, and Wigg has drifted out, and Moran might just have the drop on him, no. And Wigg is leaving holes down the inside and has the unwelcome attention of Sean Moran, and Moran, who can go inside or out, now try the outside run. Peterson's a mile in front into the last lap. Well, Wigg's doing well to hold out Moran. He's dropped him back like 3-4 lengths. But Peterson is the man that you really have to take a cap off to. Wins it with the second place Wigg doing well, third place Moran. Well, there is Bo Peterson, Kenny Carter. We thought this lad might just be a weak link, but he has been a man of some strength, hasn't he?
Fantastic race there, Dave, from Bo Peterson. He missed the start. He was third into the first corner. He rode round the outside of Sean Moran, then on the inside of Simon Wigg. A brilliant race start from the Danes. But good second place by...
There's the start again, Kenny. You can see it's Wiggy getting away now. We'll watch for Bo Peterson in blue.
He's in third place there, and now he's chopping back on Sean Moran, and then he's got some drive from somewhere. He's drove on the inside of Simon Wigg into that turn. I think Simon perhaps left a little bit too much room and didn't know he was there. But then Simon chops back on the inside to stop Sean Moran from coming past also, and just a brilliant race from Bo Peterson there.
Six races gone then in this 16-heat World Cup final, with Denmark disappearing out of sight really over the horizon on 16 points. England clinging on in there on 10. The Americans back on 6 with an awful lot of ground to make up. And Poland, rather as we expected, on 4 points in last place. There is the lineup for Heat 7. Chris Morton, England's captain, on the inside wearing the yellow helmet. Next to him, Lance King in the white helmet for America. He hasn't scored yet, and again, that was an eyebrow raiser. Grid 3, we'll have Preben Eriksson from Denmark, and on the outside we do have a change. It is the Polish reserve Boleslav Prok that comes in to replace Kasparak. There he is, number 17, Bodie Prok, well remembered in British Speedway with Reading and Leicester. Rides for the Zelona Gora Club. And there is Lance King, who many felt, and it must be said I was one of them, was in with a chance of the world individual title. Thoughtful, brilliant tactical rider. Didn't get it together at all in his opening ride. Heat 7 then with the Danes 6 points clear, and Chris Morton on the inside in yellow for England will be looking for a better start here to keep the Union Jack flying. And it's King who shows. King's in the first corner. Morton is second. In third place it is Eriksson going hard around the outside of Morton. Has he got the drop? Yes, he has on King. And this really is remarkable. Absolutely incredible. The Danes seem to have an extra gear. Morton and King locked together for second place, but Eriksson from Wolverhampton, again a rider who we thought might be a bit out of his depth at this lofty level, is tearing them apart. There is Ericsson. He's opened a lead of some 30, 40 lengths on the second rider, Lance King Morton, trying hard. Clock is out of touch. Going into the last lap. And the Danes, it must be said again, are bringing home the bacon. There is no stopping them. Morton, bless his heart, is still trying to find a way past Lance King, but as we felt here at Leszno, it is difficult to come and find some drive to come from the back. Ericsson wins it. King hangs on by, what, 3/4 of a length for second place. Morton is third. And Ericsson, who did all the spectacular work on the first two corners, punches the air. Because Denmark are exceptionally well set. The lineup for Heat 8 with Denmark now on 19 points, England on 11, the Americans on 8 and Poland on 4. Kelly Moran on the inside. Next to him, Peter Collins, England. Grid 3 will have Roman Jankowski, and on the outside, Hans Nielsen from Denmark. Nielsen, the Danish number 1 on world rankings, hasn't won a race yet, but had an impressive second place first time out. The Danes have just seemed to be from a different planet, and the Americans have been eclipsed and are a long way behind them now. England have battled grittily, but it has been all Denmark, and the Poles, well, rather as we anticipated, they're just finding the pace a little hot. Here's Heat 8, there is Roman Jankowski, who is their fastest starter from Poland, and starting is all important here. Heat 8, up to the corner, Jankowski it is, and Kelly Moran from the inside, and Nielsen is around the outside, and Nielsen, they're all four in a line. Who will break first? It is Nielsen with a magnificent first corner. Nielsen in front, second place Jankowski, third place is Kelly Moran, and Peter Collins was squeezed out in all the hair-raising activity on the first two corners. Nielsen somehow went round all three on the first corner. That really was tremendous cornering. News for England that PC, Peter Collins can't make any ground up. In second place Moran. There's Nielsen moving right out to where the drive is. Kelly Moran second. Peter Collins, and that synonymous sign has made no ground at all. In fact, it's been dropped, if anything. Into the last lap. Hans Nielsen, who did not make the start, but just grabbed an enormous handful of throttle around the first two corners. He will win it. And again, Denmark stretching them. Nielsen wins it, hanging on for second place, Kelly Moran. Third place is Jankowski. The bad tidings for England. Peter Collins left and dropped off and last. Well, let's look at that again and watch for Hans Nielsen on the outside. Kenny, when did you see a piece of cornering like this? Right around the outside.
I think that's one of the best first turns we've seen so far. All the four riders come out of this turn all together, look at that, all in a line, and then somewhere just Hans Nielsen gets the drive, comes out of the turn. The pole actually got a little bit sandwiched, but I mean the pole did fantastic there in second place. A brilliant ride from Kelly Moran to get back past the pole to come second.
Midway through this World Cup final, and already a yawning 11-point gap with Denmark in the lead in front of England on 11 points. Americans closing for second place on 10. Poland out of contention on 5. Looking across the lineup for Heat 9, on the inside there in blue for Denmark, Hans Nielsen. Next to him in red in grid number 2, we have Leonard Rubber. For the Poles, grid 3 has Sean Moran on the outside, Chris Morton for England. That is the lineup. Nielsen has ridden a couple of spectacular first corners. Poor old Chrissy Morton out here on the outside has been left a couple of times at the start. Only 1 point from him. They're all stood still and up to the corner. Nielsen's away and Morton's gone as well. Morton swings inside. Oh, what a terrific piece of tactics from Chris Morton. He switched direction. He is in front. Second place is Nielsen. Third. There is Rubber, and at the back it is Sean Moran. And we really have some fine speedway here. Morton in front, the patch close on him. Rubber's second, so too is Nielsen, and Nielsen squeezing through a gap, which is Harley there. Oh, and Morton is aware of his presence, and here comes Sean Moran. And we have a classic. Still Morton holding on, Nielsen around the outside where the drive is. He's round the outside, has he got the wheels? Yes, he has, and again, magnificent piece of overtaking from the Danes. They are men inspired. Morton in second place, Sean Moran is third. Really tremendous Heat 9. Nielsen right out of the dirt. Morton still in second place. Moran is third. Raba, who got in everybody's way from Poland, has tailed off. Nielsen it will be who consolidates for the Danes. Morton, brave terrier race. Second place, third place, Sean Moran takes the Danes further in front. But that really was a classic with some absolutely memorable action. Kenny, tell us the way Chris Morton changed direction here. He really did switch on a sixpence.
Yeah, it was a fantastic first corner. Hans Nielsen looked for Chris Morton and he went out wide to think Chris was going on the outside, but Chris turned back on the inside and came out of the corner in front. Looked very promising for England for a minute, but then Hans Nielsen got some drive on the... He's come around the outside of Hans Nielsen on this turn to get some speed up for the next corner, and you'll see in a moment that he turns back and comes back on the inside of Chris Morton, and he really went through a gap that wasn't there with Hans Nielsen, and very lucky not to all three of them come off.
Well clear now, and the Americans back in third place. England still hanging on there. Kenny, it's been a bit disappointing, but still not a disastrous performance by the English.
No, I don't think it's a disastrous performance by England. You know, I mean, at least they're in second place at the moment with 13 points. USA is on 11 points, and I mean, there's still a long way to go yet. I think the Danes really have wrapped the meeting up so far. I can't see anybody beating the Danes.
You can see Ollie Olsen there really inspiring his team. He really is a motivating force, Kenny, isn't he?
Well, I mean that goes to show. I mean, they're all there together as a team. Ollie Olsen's there. They've all got smiles on their face. And I think basically they know that they've won the meeting. I just hope that Cal can get the English boys together and at least let's go for second place now.
Heat 10 coming up there is Zenon Plek, the seasoned campaigner, formerly with Hackney and Sheffield for the Poles on the outside. And if anybody is going to hold on to these Danes, some inspiration has got to come now. Looking at the lineup on the inside, Peter Collins is should be in a yellow helmet colour. Next to him in blue is Preben Eriksson, who has been a real apple cart merchant. He's upset everybody with a win and a second place. Grid 3 has Bobby Schwartz, the American skipper, such a motivator and inspiration. They could do with some sparkle from him. And on the outside is Zenon Plek from Poland. Here we go for heat number 10. Schwartz there, impatient to get on with the action, and he's away. So here is Eriksson and Schwartz together. And Eriksson will stand on those ceremony, coming hard through. It is Plek, and Collins has been dropped. Eriksson again. The Danes are absolute dynamite. Eriksson in front, second place Plek, third place it is Schwartz. And at the back it is England. Most experienced international performer, Peter Collins, and Schwartz tries to bore a hole down the inside of Plek, and Plek manages to move across and beat the bid. Well, we look at Eriksson in front and wonder what he's been eating for breakfast, because he really has no right to be tearing apart an international field of this quality, good rider though he is. And, well, Kenny, what about Peter Collins at the back? He's not making any impression, is he?
Well, I think, to be honest, they should have really put Neil Collins in for that race, like I said. But, I mean, they've decided to let Pete have a go, and it's just proved it's a bad last place for England there. And, you know, it's really sort of in the story for England, I think.
Eriksson wins it, 3 more points for them. Second place is Poland, and the crowd here are happy about that. Third place there with Bobby Schwartz and Peter Collins, sadly for the English, at the back. Heat 11 coming up, the Danes still a long way clear on 28 points, and a battle developing now for second place between England on 13 and the Americans on 12. Poland back on 7, and they have been spoilers. Heat 11 on the inside will have Bo Peterson, who's reeled off a couple of pretty tremendous wins for the Danes, once from the back. In grid number 2 is Kelly Moran for the Americans, riding a bike machine borrowed from his younger brother Sean, who has not really shown as we rather expected him to. Kelly, unattached to a British League club this year. He's in white in grid 2. Grid 3 will have the Pole Zenon Krasczak, and it's his first world final. On the outside, Phil Collins, who has battled bodily for England. He's in yellow and black in grid 4. Heat 11, can anything stop the Danes? We'll watch the Peterson from the inside, and look at the outside for Phil Collins. And Peterson was the one who touched the tapes. They are broken, and Kelly Moran went with him. Now, what's the referee going to decide? He is a Swede, the ref, Nils Ringstrom. Used to be a rider, actually. Rode at Long Eaton and at Glasgow. Well, the tapes were broken, as as we can clearly see, and regulation should insist if they are broken, somebody is guilty. Well, it looks as though Kelly Moran has resigned himself to the fact he is excluded going back into the pits, and that really was a clear case of a rider being conned through.
Yes, Dave, it was actually Bo Peterson who pushed the tapes first, and then Kelly Moran went into the tapes, so did Phil Collins. Actually, Kelly Moran was the furthest rider through the tapes, and that's probably why they've excluded him. So it looks to me like they might put John Cook, the reserve, in now, the Americans.
Heat 11 coming up for the second time of asking. Kelly Moran excluded for tape breaking, and it increasingly looks as though the Americans are not going to replace him with their reserve John Cook. Just 3 starters only. That really is inexplicable. They are entitled to bring a reserve in, but the rules say no, and so we're in with 3 only. On the inside, Peterson, then Cass Jacket on the outside, Phil Collins. And away they go this time, and Collins and Peterson it is to show. Collins trying the outside run on Peterson, and Collins being taken wider and wider and wider. That's a gap for Zenik Kasjak to come through, and Peter Collins seemed to be hunted there by Peterson. Peterson up front, Phil Collins, of course, it is in second place. We have 3 Collins boys, didn't see much. I got a bit confused earlier on. But big, tall, lanky Bo Peterson has been unbeaten. He has 6 points so far, and unless he does something untoward, he's going to take heat 11 as the Danes forge further and further ahead. Points then for Denmark, 2 for England, a point for the Poles in heat 11, and the Americans, whose chances have grown slowly and slowly on the decline, disappearing out of sight.
I think that's the race what's clinched it for the Danes. They've all run on the track now to, I think they're going to throw Bo Peterson in the air. That's the clinching race, and Denmark's now the World Team Cup champions.
Well, there are the Danes, and it's only, we remind you, heat 11. They have torn apart the opposition. Peterson has been unbeaten. And so with only 11 races completed, the Danes have ensured a victory in the 1984 World Cup. We now wonder if they can go on and run up a record score. 44 points is the most ever recorded by Sweden in the first year of the tournament in 1960. The Danes are now well set to achieve and overtake that record. And the celebrations in the camp continue there. It really has been the most tremendous performance. There is Ole Olsen, the ex-world champion turned manager. You can see how delighted he is. They've just torn everybody apart. There's just no way of explaining how a team who we knew were strong, but not that strong, because they were without Ole Olsen, their inspiration on track, and Tommy Knudsen, one of their great young riders, but they have absolutely torn everybody apart. There's been nobody to live with them, and that really is a famous victory for them. The lineup for Heat 12, with Denmark now aiming at a new record score. They're on 31 points. 44 is the most ever recorded in a World Cup final. England will try to hang on in there for second place, and the Americans, of course, can still overtake them. There's the lineup for Heat 12. On the inside, Simon Wigg for England in yellow. Next to him in the grid 2 in blue, Erik Gundersen, unbeaten for Denmark. Grid 3 will have Lance King on 2 points for the Americans in white, and on the outside, Roman Jankowski, the Pole, who has 1 point from 2 starts. Heat 12, the domineering Danes have Gundersen, who has looked in little trouble at all in his opening 2 rides. Simon Wigg has been the most successful campaigner for the English, with a win and a second. He is on the inside, so one imagines there'll be quite a charge up to the first corner from the 2 inside grids. There's Lance King, a disappointing day for him. We expected better than 2 points from 2 rides from this young Californian. They're settling down now for Heat 12. Oh, and Gundersen really is Dicing there and gambling, and away they go, and he's still hit the start. Remarkable. Gunderson pushed the tape spot 3-4 times and still got away clear. Second place is Wigg, third place is Lance King. And King going hard under his Cradley teammate Wigg, and Wigg has held him off, or has he? Not quite. Gunderson away, second place now King, third place Wigg, at the back Jankowski. Well, Kenny Carter, we saw again there, Gunderson really was doing the psychological bit at the tape, lucky to get away with it really.
Yeah, he's lucky there, Dave. They got away with it again at the start. I think really that's probably what the Danes have done. They've got away with it so many times and it's paid off. They've got into the first turn first and consequently they've won the races.
Are you saying to us it's deliberate gamesmanship?
Well, I think the Danes have tried it on to see if they can get away with it. They've got away with it, and it's just gone to show they've made nearly every start tonight, so far.
Well, Gunderson's a mile in front now, and King is in second place, so that brings the Americans back nearer the British, or rather the English. Of course, England have won this title 4 times as England and 12 times as finalists as Great Britain. Win for Gunderson, second place King, third place there as they ran over the line. It was Wigg, the pole at the back, which doesn't exactly enamour him to the Leszno crowd. And Denmark continue on their merry way. Heat 13 with the Danes home and hosed. We look across the lineup on the inside, Phil Collins for England. Next to him in blue, Hans Nielsen. Again, a linchpin of this Danish squad, this brilliant Danish squad this afternoon. Grid 3 has Zenon Plek from Poland. On the outside, Lance King, who started with a last and has picked up his performance with 2 consecutive second places. Heat 13, the Danes on 34 points. England hanging on to second place with 16. The Americans breathing down their neck on 14. Poland, who have done better than many had felt, on 8 points. They haven't been outclassed at all as we come into Heat 13. And inevitably, it's the Dane that's impatient. Now they're all still and away this time, and it's still Denmark to show. Nielsen in front, Collins in second. In third place, it is Plek, and around the outside, it is now Lance King, squeezing into third place by half a length. Nielsen in front, Phil Collins is second. Lance King locked together with Zenon Plek, and Plek got back under King for third place. And it looks as though Plek has given up, or rather his machine has. So nothing going Poland's way, but everything going in the direction of Denmark, with Nielsen leading here, Heat number 13. The Danes have got this sensational record in World Finals, in World Cup Finals. It's their 6th final. They've won it 3 times, they've been second twice, and they won it again this afternoon by the length of a straight. Into the last lap, 338 metres around this Junior Leszno track, home of the Polish champions and one of the oldest established clubs in Poland. Beautifully prepared, perhaps a little bit too well prepared, as Nielsen wins Heat 13. Second place is Phil Collins. Third, the disappointing and rather disillusioned American Lance King. Heat number 14 coming up in the 84 World Cup final, and the one real big question now is, can the Danes run up a new record score? They've got 37, the best ever total was 44, so they're well on course as we come into Heat 14. There is the lineup. On the inside, Leonard Rabba from Poland, who has 2 points thus far. Grid 2 has Simon Wigg, England's perhaps most consistent performer, with a total of 6 points. Grid number 3 has Kelly Moran with 3 points and an exclusion. On the outside, Preben Eriksson, one of the revelations for the Danes, with a second and then 2 wins, both of them coming around from the back on the first 2 corners. They have been absolutely dynamite around the first 2 turns, the Danes. Heat 14, we'll watch for Eriksson coming from the outside. And away this time, and up to the first corner, it is Simon Wigg who leads it. Wigg is in front, and Eriksson got a nudge there from Moran, and getting shut out down the bottom corner. It's still Wigg in front now. Here comes Eriksson. Eriksson around the outside of Kelly Moran, and Kelly Moran has not been able to hold him off. And Moran swings him out and covers a hair-raising corner as Eriksson tried to lead on it and paid the penalty. Asking no question at all. Wigg in front for England. Second place is Moran. Ericsson is back in third. It's the first time a Dane has been out of the opening two placings. And Wigg swinging very wide. And Kelly Moran almost squeezed under him. And Wigg really has got to keep in here. He's got Kelly Moran, who is not too happy about the tape exclusion earlier on. Into the last lap, still Simon Wigg. A race winner for England early on, and those sparkling campaigners, which bodes well for the World Individual Final in a fortnight when he is the lone England finalist. Wigg is going to win it. Moran is in second place, and Ericsson is in third place, and the Danes will maybe construe that as a bit of a disaster. Coming into heat number 15, England manager Carl Glover brings reserve Neil Collins into the action. Far too late to have any overall effect on the result. As we look across the line on the inside, Sean Moran from America, very, very disappointing day for him. Only 5 points to win in 2/3. Second grid in red, we have Zenon Kasczak from Poland, then Collins, and on the outside, Erik Gundersen looking for his maximum in a World Cup final. He's unbeaten in his first 3 rides in blue. And he touched the tapes again. This time he's still and gets away, an absolute flyer. Into the corner it is Gundersen. Moran is second. In third place it is the England reserve Neil Collins, who Collins is fighting. Collins might just get the drop on Moran here as they come down past our commentary position. It's Gundersen in front. Tremendous piece of quartering from Neil Collins, takes him up into second place. And down there in the red helmet has gone Zenon Kasczak. He's okay, the bike will be cleared if they make a bit of a move on. Fair old battle for second place too between Collins and Moran. There it is. Collins on the outside in yellow. Sean Moran on the inside in white. Gundersen a mile clear. And Neil Collins, it looks like he could hold off Sean Moran. Has another 338 metres to resist the attempt. And Kenny, this is a good ride from Neil Collins, but it's so late to bring him in, isn't it?
Well, I thought that actually they would have brought Neil Collins in a lot earlier to see how he went. And like he's proved, he's coming second in this race. And he's beat off the number 1 American Sean Moran. So perhaps, you know, if Neil had been put in earlier, we could have sort of scored more points. But at least I think that's going to ensure England are coming second in the meeting.
That's right. Gundersen winning it. Neil Collins with a really gutsy performance. Holds second place. Sean Moran in third place for the Americans.
And so the Danes jubilant. Some consolation for England in second place. Who can deny this Danish side, who finished up with a record equalling 44 points? The second year running, Denmark find themselves on the winners' rostrum. Denmark 44, England 24, the USA 20 and Poland 8. And the Danes very much the new lead.